If people want to wear a mask, that is okay. It protects others more than it protects you, because it prevents you from breathing or speaking moistly on them. Oh, what a terrible image.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back. My name's Natasha, and this is Behavior Breakdowns. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, PJ. Say hi. Today, we are breaking down the body language and behavior of former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau was the leader of our country for many years, and I think that it's important to have videos out there that break down and analyze politicians' body language and overall behavior. These are the leaders of our country, and these are the people that we are trusting to have our best interests in mind. It's super important for us to hold our leaders accountable and hold the people that are representing us and our country to the highest degree. Even before major announcements are made from our politicians, body language often is the first indicator that something might be going on beneath the surface. I want to take a look at Trudeau's resignation speech and also some of the interviews and press conferences that happened shortly before his resignation. Understanding body language and behavior helps us spot red flags in leadership. So I think it's a useful tool to be able to look back on somebody that we know was starting to feel a bit apprehensive about their ability to lead, and to analyze some of those behaviors that started to leak out. Let's take a look at some clips of Trudeau so that we can spot any type of avoidance behaviors. We can look for rising signs of stress and frustration, and any type of nonverbal cue that Trudeau gives that he's experiencing some type of internal conflict. So this clip was from a news conference in October of 2024, and Trudeau is answering some questions from the media.
Question and answer period. Le Premier Ministre va rester pour les premières 5 questions. First question to Mackenzie Gray, Global News.
Hi, Mr. Trudeau. How can you say your party's united after numerous MPs told you to your face yesterday that you should quit?
As Trudeau takes over the podium here, we see some lip pursing gestures. The lips come together and the chin raises slightly. Sometimes people make this gesture when they are in agreement with something or someone. It can be a nonverbal way to say okay or good job towards somebody. When the press asks that initial question, we see Trudeau breaking the eye contact, looking down, and we also see a very subtle and brief tongue jut. Tongue juts usually happen when somebody feels a bit of distaste or displeasure towards a conversation or an idea. Trudeau also goes to brace himself on the sides of the podiums, giving his hands something to hold on to, giving his hands something to do so that he's not moving around too much.
Listen, the Liberal Party has always had robust discussions about the best ways to tackle the issues that are facing Canadians. We are united in our desire to prevent Pierre Poilievre from cutting the programs and services that Canadians are facing. We're going to continue to have great discussions about how I can best lead the Liberal Party forward with measures that will counter the growing misinformation and disinformation that Mr. Poilievre is putting forward around Canadians. We're focused on winning the next election, and we've got a great team around us to do it.
That's sort of the slogan of the Liberals for the last few years: prevent Pierre Poilievre. That's basically what their party platform is these days. We also have a bit of a loss of fluency there as Trudeau says best, and then he realizes that sentence won't quite make sense and he switches it up and says great.
Continue to have great discussions about...
We've all had moments where we've stumbled on our words or forgot what we were going to say mid-sentence. So sometimes that happens with cognitive overload, and when the brain is under stress and trying to make sense of multiple things at a time, sometimes we'll will stumble on our words or mix words up in a sentence. Right before Trudeau says we're focused on winning the next election, we see a shoulder shrug from him. Shoulder shrugs come out around uncertainty and somebody not feeling confident in the words that they're saying.
I have a hard time believing that all Conservative MPs are fine with a member of their front bench dining with neo-Nazis over the past years. I have a really hard time believing that all Conservative members are perfectly fine with their leader politicizing issues around national security, but refusing to get a security clearance to be able to actually deal with foreign interference.
So the press is now continuing to question Trudeau about his ability to lead. And in this clip, we can really hear the cadence start to shift. You can listen to the rhythm and the flow of those words start to become a bit more drastic. Listen to the emphasis on some of those words: dining, actually.
A security clearance to be able to actually.
The stress is starting to rise in his body, and so we're starting to see a bit more movement come out in his body language. He's shifting around a little bit more behind the podium, and we're starting to see more exaggerated gestures.
In the Liberal Party, we talk amongst ourselves. We share our perspectives. We're open about our united desire to make sure that Pierre Poilievre doesn't get the chance to cut the programs and services that Canadians are relying on in this time of affordability crises.
The eyebrows are up. We see those lines creased on his forehead as he continues to emphasize his point. We see eyebrows raise a lot around disbelief, around surprise, and also around social connection and social approval. If somebody is wanting to connect with somebody or wanting to make sure that their point is being heard, they will often use the eyebrows to emphasize that point. We also see a shoulder shrug happen right before Trudeau says the Liberal Party. We see those shoulders raise up again, perhaps suggesting some feelings of uncertainty about what it is the Liberal Party is doing.
So yeah, we're going to continue to have great conversations about what is the best way to take on Pierre Poilievre in the next election, but that'll happen with me as leader going into the next election.
Trudeau finishes his statement there. I notice a couple of things that stand out. One is that he nods in agreement with the words that he says. Generally, that's a good thing. But the contradictory parts of his body language and behavior here towards that statement are that his cadence has shifted again. He was just going up and down, emphasizing certain words, putting a lot of energy into the words that he was saying, conveying that message. And we also have a loss of volume. So the volume has gone down, and as he finishes the sentence, the words progressively get quieter.
But that'll happen with me as leader going into the next election.
If somebody's not fully confident in the words that they're saying, sometimes we might have a loss of volume towards the end of their sentence. The words sort of start to trail off a little bit because the person feels some internal uncertainty about the words that they're saying. So they don't come across with that same emphasis. They don't come across in the same cadence. And we start to hear the words kind of fade and trail off a little bit, as we do for Trudeau here. Let's take a look at another clip here. This is Trudeau about a week before his resignation speech. He's leaving Parliament and he stops to answer a question from the press.
Are you considering proroguing?
We just had an excellent cabinet meeting that is almost entirely focused on the Canada-US dynamic. We know how important it is for Canadians that we be there to protect not just the Canadian economy, but their jobs, the cost of living challenges they're facing that could get worse. We have a lot of work to do, and that's what we're focused on.
Is there going to be an election? Are you going to prorogue Parliament? Are you considering proroguing?
So there's a complete loss of fluency as Trudeau goes to avoid answering the question to the best of his ability.
We just had an excellent cabinet meeting that is almost entirely focused.
He must have known this question was coming, and he might have tried to mentally prepare a statement, but when the time came to answer the question and actually avoid answering the question, the words have come out all jumbled together. He struggles to find some way to articulate the sentence. The eyebrows here are being raised, but they're also being pulled together. And we often see the eyebrows pull together when someone is experiencing grief. The muscle here in the middle of the forehead often causes those eyebrows to pull up and inward, and we do see a little bit of that happening here for Trudeau. For a final clip here, let's take a look at Trudeau's resignation speech, which he gave at the start of this year.
Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Interestingly, when Trudeau says any success that I have personally achieved has been with their support and encouragement, we see a couple shoulder shrugs there. So there's definitely some internal feelings of uncertainty about that idea. Perhaps Trudeau feels like it wasn't fully because of their support that he was able to achieve what he achieved. Or perhaps he's just not confident that he truly achieved enough. When Trudeau says, I intend to resign, we do see those eyebrows go up again, emphasizing that point. And we also see that his eyes are starting to look a bit watery, as well as some redness on the nose. Now, those are two indicators that we look for when we want to see genuine emotion. The nose often goes red when someone has been crying or if they're about to cry. And we also see tears or water starting to form in the eyes. But it's also important to understand context. Now, Trudeau is outside in the middle of winter. This is early January, one of the coldest times of the year. So he's making this statement outside, and those are also signals that we can expect to see if somebody is feeling cold. The nose goes red and the eyes might water. If there's some wind or some chill in the air, we might see those same gestures happening.
As you all know, I am a fighter, and I am not someone who backs away from a fight, particularly when a fight is as important as this one is. But I have always been driven by my love for Canada, by my desire to serve Canadians, and by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And Canadians deserve a real choice in the next election. And it has become obvious to me with the internal battles that I cannot be the one to carry the Liberal standard into the next election.
As you all know, I am a fighter, and we see those shoulders raise there. That is not something that you want to see from your leader. If you're going to take one thing from this video, it should be this. If the leader of your country is making a statement about themselves and their personal identity, and you see their shoulders raise the way that they do here for Trudeau, you should take that as an immediate red flag. If the leader of your country is not confident about their own statements regarding their own identity, that should be a cause of concern for you, because our leaders need to feel fully confident in themselves, fully confident in their identities and their ability to lead. Interesting to hear someone describe themselves as a fighter and then go on to further tell us how they will no longer be fighting. I think that it was a poor choice of words for Trudeau. His team should have come together to tailor that statement a little bit better. As we saw, that body language that Trudeau was exhibiting was showing us how he was really feeling about his personal statements regarding himself as a fighter and regarding himself having the best interests for Canadians. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. When was the first time you became skeptical of Trudeau's ability to lead? Was there a certain speech or press conference that he gave that you started to see some unraveling of Trudeau's behavior? I think that it's been useful to go back and analyze Trudeau's body language right before his resignation to see that increasing amount of stress accumulating in his body and coming out through nonverbal cues. I know some of you didn't want to see Trudeau, and if you watched the video, thank you for staying with me to the end. I really appreciate it. If you have any suggestions of whose body language and behavior we should break down next, feel free to write it in the comments below. As always, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one. Bye! Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, you said it right there. That's good. Oh, I know. I know. You stay. That's good. Yeah.
These are the things we know that prevent you from speaking moistly.